Well, good morning, everybody. How you doing here? Look at this amazing view we get. If I get out here on Light Street, the light's about to change. You can look straight down to the John Hancock. We got a beautiful sunrise here. Friday, October the 10th, 2025. It's a glorious morning because the Cubs beat the Milwaukee Brewers 6-0. It was a Cubs jumped off to an early lead once again, like they did yesterday, scoring 3 runs there in the bottom of the first, and then Milwaukee had some amazing challenges where they would like get people on second and third and 1 out, and Cubs would somehow get out of the jam and held the Brewers scoreless shutout, which is very hard to do. Very offensive team there, Milwaukee Brewers. So we'll see what happens. The Cubs live to play another day. Saturday night is the next game, the 5th, the deciding match of the division series between the Cubs and the Brewers there. Saturday night, 7:08 in Milwaukee. So, and then we have the Chicago Marathon on, Chicago Marathon on Sunday. So we'll be covering that. Jessica, how you doing there? Good morning. Tea Lime Tea Time. Hey, Krista, thanks for tuning in. Eric, thanks for tuning in on YouTube. Appreciate it. Jessica, yeah, Tony, good morning. Yeah, Eric. Winner take all Saturday night. You got it. Yeah, we got some exciting baseball going on. Man, did you see the Dodgers defeated, man, that was the Philadelphia Phillies. It went to the 11th inning. Did anybody see that? That was going on when the Cubs game was starting. It was still went to extra innings, and it was the 11th inning. It must have been the bottom of the 11th there, yeah. And out in Los Angeles, was that right? Could it have been? Yeah. And bases were loaded. That was the first problem for the Phillies. Dodgers had the bases loaded, and the batter hit the ball right back to the pitcher, and he brushed it. He could have threw to first. The catcher actually signaled he could throw to first, and he was facing the home plate, so he tried to get it home. Would have been a really tough cross the body tag for the catcher. Catchers hate that, I'm sure. And it was an error. It actually was marked as an error to end the game there. So whoever wins the Milwaukee-Chicago match there on Saturday night will face the Dodgers for the National League title series. And then on the other side, hey, Detroit Tigers beat the Seattle Mariners 9-3. So they play their game 5 tonight, 7 o'clock, 7:08, I think there. And then Yankees are out of it. And so some exciting baseball happening all around here. The Blue Jays defeated the New York Yankees. So Canada's got a team in the hunt here. Yeah, so hey, what else is taking here? Christy, yeah, Alan. Looks nice, yeah. So if you just joined, we're on Cleveland Street. This is Lincoln Park, heading to work here. We were checking out Halloween decorations on our way up to Wrigley. We went to Wrigley last night. We didn't go inside. Will, how you doing there? Yeah, Ricky, Christy, what's shaking there? Yeah, you want to get the scooter? I call it scooter debris. See how they're just laying around? They're usually like you trip over them. I'm always like, who's liable? You know, the city's not liable. The scooter company's not liable. The person that laid it there is not liable. It's your own risk. I'm more worried about tripping on a scooter than being mugged. But I shouldn't discount it. I know those loot punchers are walking around. Jody G TV, he covered the protest. Ernie covered the protest. Ernesto, me, a few other people. I saw even Alexander Chicago covered the protest, which I commend him for doing that. I thought he was traveling around. I guess he's back in Chicago. That's good. And We saw this Gemini. We saw this Gemini up at Wrigleyville last night. You could see it at the end of my YouTube rerun there. He was, and the poor guy, he goes, yeah, something happened with his phone. We were listening, both he and I were listening to the, you could hear the Star Spangled Banner before the game in front of the marquee. It was kind of emotional. You could kind of get chills there, the playoff baseball game there, and the crowds, and sentimental. So if you just joined, we're in Chicago. We're in a neighborhood called Lincoln Park. This is where I live. Well, I'm always here. People are like, get out of Lincoln Park. I'm walking to work. This is my commute to work. We do this. We've been doing this for years. I've been doing it before the age of live streaming, but adapted it into my schedule here. I just kind of, you know, changing the seasons. Look, we got fall. Look, nice. Oh, that's a nice Halloween display here. You got the snake. You got the skeletons with the frogs. Yeah, they got the frogs. That's why. But we saw a really nice Halloween display. In Lakeview, going up Sheffield. But it was good to see the crowds there. It was, they had the streets shut down. Oh, we saw Fergie Jenkins. Fergie Jenkins, I got to cut that out. Fergie Jenkins was on the, you know, legendary Hall of Fame Cubs pitcher. He was on the sports announcers dais there. And I saw him on the big screen, and I'm like, well, there he is. He's right there. Like, he was in Gallagher Way. And we saw, you know, his statue. He was actually like feet from his statue. So there was the Fergie Jenkins statue. And there's Fergie Jenkins. And then he was on TV. So, and looked like it was a good crowd, solid crowd. I saw Vic Cohen. Vic Cohen was at the game. He posted. He was sitting in the upper deck. But he picked a good game to go to the Wrigley there. I'm glad he's posting content. That's good. There's yeah, we'll cross the street here. I see a skeleton waving over here. Cleveland Street. But we'll go back to looking for Halloween decorations. We'll cover. People are heckling me. They're like, "Why aren't you at a protest?" You know, I know. People in Europe taunt us too. They when they protest, they really protest. In Europe, they'll protest 10 days in a row. Keep up the pressure. It's just. But there was so much coverage of it. We're going to see a lot of video. There was, look good. There's the skeleton. Yeah, look at this housing. Cleveland Street, Lincoln Park, Chicago. We got about 60 degrees. Maybe it's in the 50s. Maybe it's in the upper 50s. Let me check my other phone here. We got October the 10th. Yeah, the marathon's going to be Sunday. I think it's going to start early. I'll start with the bands, and we'll start with the wheelchairs and all that. 52. Wow, we are in the 50s. I forgot what the 50s felt like. There. So we're supposed to get to mid 60s today. It's gonna cloud up. Hey, here's some skulls. Hey, here's the Quote the Raven. Wow. Look at all the, here's the birds. It's Alfred Hitchcock. This is like taxidermy. These are like real looking birds. Hey, here's some Halloween decorations. Yeah, a lot of people think New York City. I mean, look at this amazing housing here. Look at that, these brownstones and row houses here. This is Cleveland Street, Lincoln Park, Chicago. We're near Lincoln Avenue here. Lincoln. That's how you can tell you're in Chicago. At least the north side, everything's Lincoln. Lincoln. Lincoln Square, Lincoln Park, Lincoln Avenue, Lincoln Park Zoo. Lincoln Hotel. There's Carnival grocery store. Yeah, we'll cross Lincoln. What time we got here? 6:56. Yeah, I bet you it was a beautiful sunrise. It looks like they got these crazy clouds. I'm kicking myself because I took a bike ride after I ditched a protest there yesterday, and the moon, with the full moon, was amazing. And hey, they used to put the skeletons there, but they're not doing it this year. Here's the carnival. Here we'll cross the street. Here's a bunch of scooters. I never seen a bunch of scooters right here. Look at this beautiful facade there, the terracotta. And the Tanucci's there. Look at all these scooters. Oops. There, we'll head down Cleveland Street. I see some Halloween decorations there. Southwest Pennsylvania there. Thanks, Lori. I missed that before. Rapunzel. The Michaels. Naya Papaya there, yeah. It's a Queen Script there. If you just joined here, we're in Chicago. This neighborhood's called Lincoln Park. And we're about 2-3 miles north of the Central Business District. That's where I'm heading. I work for an architecture engineering firm. This is my commute to work. I don't have a car. And we got all these Halloween decorations. Hey, good morning. How you doing? I like the Halloween decorations here. It's good here. And here we'll, oh, look at this. Look at the nice Planet Media in here. They got the urns. A lot of people do seasonal planning. See Better Homes and Gardens here. Look at these beautiful Italian facades here. Cleveland Street. Yeah, here we go. We got the skeletons creeping over the wall here. Spiders. Yeah. What else is going on this weekend? The Marathon Sunday. Cubs game is Saturday night at 7 in Milwaukee. Any other big things going on this weekend? Well, we'll check the... October the 18th is the next big date. All Kings is going to have a major demonstration in Grant Park. And RefuseFascism.org will be a part of that. And I'm sure the organization Stop the Trump Agenda that organized the one we just witnessed on Wednesday night will be there as well. Coalition, and there's the pro-Palestinian protesters were there in solidarity, which we appreciate that, and many other groups and organizations, just people unaffiliated with anything like me, just kind of showing this historic moment we're living through, because like the old Chinese curse, may you live through interesting times, it's getting real in certain neighborhoods throughout Chicagoland here. And people are, you see those videos of people, when ICE is going through a neighborhood, a caravan of cars will trail behind them, honking their horns and blowing whistles and notifying people. And it's got to be hard to work in a community that doesn't want you there. And my question is always, I was talking to my cousin Mike about this, which I appreciate his perspective, and I was like, I saw like Christy Nome, they got a number. If you want to join ICE, call this number. I'm like, who's vetting these people calling this number? Will they just, you volunteer for the cause and use your own mask, use your own vehicle, and just start rounding up people? And then people are getting doxxed, they're getting full, people are impersonating ICE. And so if you have a mass Gestapo, what's stopping from somebody else just taking the law into their own hands when it looks like our own government's taking the law into its own hands? Look at, hey, how you doing there? Break a bone. Yeah, people got you get the add-on. See, you get the Home Depot skeleton, and you can get the jaw where you can record a message or program it, or the eyes. Hey, there you go. So people are, hey, there it is. There's a skeleton. Yeah, very nice. And yeah, we know this house with the family. We already got a rerun posted of this. This is Cleveland Street, Lincoln Park, Chicago. Look at the nice family with the 2 dogs, 2 kids there. Yeah. We filmed this. There, I like the witch's eyes there. Hey, this is nice. They got the spider with the crazy abdomen there. The witch splatted on the tree. We saw all this. We'll see this several times. I did go over to Dayton Street. There were some cool decorations on Dayton Street, but we'll have to go back there. Maybe I'll check out Fremont and Bissell. Fremont and Bissell usually have really amazing decorations. And then we'll check out Orchard and Burling, maybe even tonight. But hey, Mary Trees, thanks for being on. Appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. And Jerry. What does that mean? Hey, that's the Karate Kid there. So they inflatables, they deflate. How you doing? How you doing? Come on. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Thank you. Appreciate it. That's okay. Yeah, the dog wanted to be on YouTube. It's good. See people out walking the dogs, Cleveland, Wisconsin. Baller Park. Rapunzel, how you doing there? Yeah, you're free to move about the country. Yeah, come on over here. Pequod's, yeah, Pequod's got some good pizza. You're making me hungry now. Get that caramelized crust there. Go to Webster and Clybourne there. Get some Pequod's Chicago style pizza. Caramelized crust there. Tricks are for kids. You crazy rabbit. I wonder what Bugs Bunny thinks of Tricks the Rabbit. Or Squirrely Squirrel. But what else is going on? The government's still shut down. We saw J.B. Pritzker on Wednesday. That was a surprise. Ernie caught that as well. I got so much content to cut out. We were at Wrigley Field. You could hear the announcement of the opening lineup. We were on Waveland. I don't know. I guess hopefully it didn't cut out. I love my pet. You get this temporary pet hauling boxes there, I guess, for the cat. Yeah, these are beautiful homes. I call it better homes and gardens there. See, you got the Planet Landscape Median. People do seasonal displays all throughout the year. Now people got their Halloween with the pumpkins and the mums and the gourds and the ornamental cabbage and kale and Annabelle. I guess is that what that is? Got the bats. Put some spider web on you. Hey, there we go. Yeah, you get the spider web. Look, oh, they got the mummy there upside down. Get the headless. Hey, how you doing there? High five. High five. Yeah, how you doing there? Oh, this one lost his arm. We saw this earlier because I always walk down the street. Hey, there's some spider webs over there. There's the Old Town Market. You like that? That's an old storefront at the bottom. They converted to housing there. Old Town Market here. Now we're in Old Town, the Old Town Triangle. And, well, technically we're still in Lincoln Park, but we're close to the Old Town Triangle. I won't get into the technicalities of where the historic district begins and ends. But look at this, yeah, the beautiful. See, you used to have a corner storefront, now it's housing. That's why they built that up, so people like me aren't prying in the windows. Hey, there's the, yeah, let's go over to the Midwest Buddhist temple here. Let's check it out. Jay-Z house, yeah. I remember going to Brooklyn. My friends lived near the Marcy Projects, the Jay-Z train line. There's the J line, the Z line goes out there into Brooklyn, near Williamsburg. Like a bush, going almost to Bushwick. You ever go to Bushwick? Bunch of hipsters, all the hipsters in Brooklyn. I don't know if that's a thing. That was like 20 years ago. They're like, oh, you hipsters. It was like yuppies or people gentrifying the neighborhood. Yeah, where's Brooklyn at? Oh, the Yankees. The Yankees play in the Bronx. This is Chicago. This is not New York. There's so many great New York live streamers that you can follow. Watch Marty Mora and watch Mikey. I guess Dan's on Twitch and other places. Dan All Day New York City. Kenny's still on YouTube or TikTok as far as I know. Marty's still on TikTok, streaming all the time. Hey, there's the Midwest Buddhist Temple there. Yeah, Midwest Churches of America. There's that park with the mountain there. There's the Schmidt-Scary building there. Look how nice that looks. So this is where the Old Town Triangle begins. John Kearney statues. Midwest Buddhist Center here. They got these nice Zen gardens. We went up Fern Court early in the week, so let's head over to Sedgwick here. Let's cut over on Willow here. I'm just curious if our I posted that rerun from last year. Oh, there's a nice pumpkin patch right there. So there's some. We'll catch that later in the week there. Mud flood. Yeah. Are you a Tartarian? You like conspiracy theories? You believe there's a person in the bean trapped? Yeah, I bet you believe there's a person trapped in the bean too. Do you collect conspiracy theories? The mud flood. No, the Chicago streets were raised. It's historically documented. You're going to believe what you're going to believe. Everybody can choose their own adventure. History's created in the minds of all of us and forced upon us by the dominant cultural narrative. History's in the eye of the beholder. There's Margie Still. Margie Still. But if you create a false historical narratives, we'll be doomed to repeat the failures of the past. So you can make a conspiracy theory that America's not slipping into fascism and corporations have your best interest at heart. Billionaires are your friend. You can hang out and play video games with Elon Musk and he won't cheat. You know. Okay, so I posted, October the 8th marked the anniversary of the Great Chicago Fire, and I just posted a rerun from last year. People probably might recognize it. And we talked about the aftermath of the Great Chicago Fire, 1871, how they built little little temporary houses to get them through the winter. Here on Willow Street, just past Sedgwick, this is an example of one of these little houses that they built after the Great Chicago Fire, and this is where they built them in Old Town. This probably was built 1871, 1872. The winter got people through the winter. This little small room that you could heat. The old days where you had to use coal and wood, you didn't want a big, huge, giant room with a tall ceiling to heat. You wanted a small little log cabin room with thick walls, and and then they used those for their coach houses and their garages. And you can find a few of them. There's probably one of the best examples that I can regularly walk by. And then you see these are the workmen's cottages. Look at these beautiful wood frame houses that were built in the early 1870s before they increased the building codes after the Great Chicago Fire. And then most things became brick and stone. And that's why you got the brick and stone of the Gold Coast and those beautiful Gilded Age mansions. Here's the Theodore Becking house. Look how nice that looks. One of the classic workman's cottage, 2-story, well built. Same with this one. This one's actually 3 stories, or I don't know what they call it, the attic. And here we're on. No, this is Menominee. I'm wrong. This is Menominee Street. We're not on Willow. Willow's just south of us. So this is Menominee Street. See the old coach houses. This is why Old Town Triangle's a historic district. The horse and buggy days, they would have horses. We'll go by a livery stable. They turn it into a community center. Here's the yellow house. It's on the market. Everybody likes this yellow house. You can look it up, see how much it's listed for there. Here we'll head around this used to be a livery stable. This is the old, so that's the Menominee Boys and Girls Club. This is the old livery stables they used as the community center here, Old Town. And they had Oktoberfest here. I missed it. I wanted to get it, but I came back from North Carolina. Hey, there's the, you put the window flowers in there, boxes. But hey, thanks for tuning in there. Welcome everybody. Hi, UK's tuning in. How's everybody doing there? So hey, see they got the rental parties. You can rent the bowling alley there here in North Park and Willow. So this is Willow. So I thought I was on Willow, but I was on Menominee. Hey, we'll go check out the graveyard over here. Yeah, there's the Bronco. Yeah, I'm Brian Really Chicago. How you doing? Nice to meet you. Hey, thanks for saying hello. That's great. Yeah, that's good. See, it was a drive-by. It was a drive-by. They creeped up on me. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna get jumped. And they're like, hello, we're nice people. I'm like, oh, thanks a lot. I gotta tell them I'm on YouTube. They'll be looking on TikTok. They'll be like, we know he's live streaming. Why is he not on TikTok? Where's he at? I still have people. They're like, why'd you stop live streaming? I said, I'm live streaming 3 times a day. You just got to change the network. You know? I know YouTube sucks, but so does TikTok. Here's here, look. Here's the skeletons here. Yeah, look at that. They got some pumpkin over there. There's that purple house. Somebody told me they moved that purple house. I gotta look into that. Maybe Jennifer You Should Eat has some more information. She probably already did. There we go. Hey, creeping around the corner there, we got the skeleton with the eyes on. Got the nice up. That'll look nice at night there. Look at that. Got the dogs here. So this is St. Paul Street. Yeah, we got the guard dogs. The dogs from hell. How you doing there? Hey, there's a little bird picnic table there. Hey, we got some pumpkins. Better Homes and Gardens mums. Hey, Charlie Brown. How you doing there, Charlie? Hey, Snoopy. Charlie and Snoopy there, yeah. Very nice. There. Oh, Charlie Brown. We saw this up. Here's this beautiful house on, beautiful porch on St. Paul Street. Old Town Historic District, Chicago, Illinois. This is yeah, I just said it. Here's the, look at all those gourds and pumpkins. See, people do the nice, just get nice stoops and porches here. Again, the architecture makes it perfect for Halloween decoration. Let's see if anybody on, this is called Philly Court, has some Halloween decorations here. Yeah, we you know, we're used to being a political punching bag in Chicago. There are vast areas of Chicago that are impoverished. There's areas that are dealing with the ICE enforcement. Oh, the head popped off. Look at that. You hear that scream? That freaked me out there. So, hey, we got the ghouls coming out of the graveyard here. There's the Undertaker. So I remember the Undertaker. He talks, so we'll come back. That's a new thing with the head there. I like that. So hey, look at the Queen Anne style buildings here on Philly Court, Chicago, Illinois. So I know I get criticized often for, they're like, look at this yuppie streaming on the north side. You show all the millionaires' mansions and all the gentrified, you know, and you know, the white north side of Chicago, and I understand that. It's valid criticism, but I've lived in Lincoln Park for 26 years. I work downtown. I try to cover all areas of the city. I went with Ernesto, Chicago Nuggies. We went down the Pills in there on Sunday. We went to Chinatown on Saturday. Oops, sorry. And people, here we go. Here we'll, let's see if the ducks are out. You know, I'm going to get that criticism regardless, and I'll take it. I'll absorb it. You can stereotype me any way you want. You know, I covered the protest. I'll be criticized because I didn't stay for the whole march. You know, I did film the May Day march, and we walked with that, but then even that one I broke off. I didn't stay with Drew when he went to, because I had to go back to work. And all these people were like, look at these commie socialists, get a job. I'm like, I'm going back to work. This is my lunch break. I'm taking part of my lunch break to film this. You get no credit, you know. Just like we filmed J.B. Pritzker. That was on our lunch break, you know. And then everybody's like, why don't you eat lunch? We want you to film you know, eating your lunch there. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. Show me stuff in my face. Oh, let me promote all these products. Let me promote McDonald's. No, I'm joking. Hey, look at these clouds. That's a beautiful cloud. So, yeah, Eugenie Terrace there. Let's say hello to Jeremy. There's, yeah, this beautiful housing along Eugenie. If you just joined me in Chicago, now we're on Wells Street. We'll just walk. Let's just walk down Old Town. We'll see if any of these businesses got some. I want to see. Okay, so remember Dom's Market closed down, which is a few blocks south of there. I'll walk past there. The Fresh Market's planning, it looks like they're going to open that location, which is, something's better than nothing. The Fresh Market took over the old Dom's Market up on Halstead, just south of Diversey there. And we're in Old Town, so we'll see if the one down here, whether they got an opening day. This is the Treasure Island, so this is another empty grocery store. And this has been closed for a long time, several years, 5 years. Waylon, how you doing there? Pass by your window, Mosquito. How you doing there? Yeah, Old Town there. Bell, how you doing there? Gatsbo. Berserker. Yeah. Kevin Smith has a huge following on the social medias. You see, Kevin Smith was at Daily Plaza, and he was talking about the Blues Brothers. Kevin Smith, of course, a movie director. You know, all the Kevin Smith movies there, and Silent Bob. And he like me, we're getting older. We're these aging Gen X people, and I'm like, man, Kevin Smith's looking old. And I'm like, I look in the mirror, I'm like, well, I'm getting old too. It's freaking me out. But Kevin Smith was at Daily Plaza in front of the Picasso, and he was talking about the Blues Brothers, and Steven Spielberg was in that movie, and he knows he did a cameo, because he does cameos in his own movies too. Here's the Second City there, the heads. There's Mozart, the Louis Sullivan facade that was salvaged by Richard Nickel, and they put it on the Second City there at the Improv Comedy, Cochran's Moonstar. They want to build a 30-story condo building there. This is the intersection of North and Wells, Chicago. But hey, Chris, how about that big win? The Cubs, yeah, the Cubs 6-0. We were watching that game. The Cubs jumped out to an early lead there, 3-0 in the first. Then they kept, by the 7th, 8th, and 9th, they would tack on like solo home runs and stuff. Hey, so this is some of the fencing for the Chicago Marathon. The Chicago Marathon will come right through here, and we'll cover it on Sunday. But yeah, the Cubs Force Game 5. It'll be in Milwaukee there on Saturday night. Detroit plays the Mariners tonight at 7. Dodgers are already in it. They've advanced. Whoever wins the Cubs-Milwaukee game on Saturday will face the Dodgers. Whoever wins the Detroit-Seattle game tonight will face the Blue Jays, the Toronto Blue Jays. This is Wall Street, Old Town. Hey, they're working on the Zanies. They're working on the sign, Zanies. So we went by this. They're fixing the light there. So hey, here's the sign of Zanies. There, how you doing? There's Zanies. They're working on the sign there. Quality neon signs, yeah. Look at these windows. This is Wells Street. We'll head around here. Merci beaucoup resale. State Street Barbers. Here's the bookshop here. It's called the Slant of Light. Old Town Oil. So the Bears play Monday night. Bears got Monday night football. I think Detroit plays Sunday night. Here, Woody's. Oh yeah, Woody's is decorated. Woody's is decorated for Halloween, so we can come through here at night. See how they got this lit up. They got the skeletons hanging from the post here. Very creepy. Fudge spot. But the fudge spot has some good taffy apples. Red Orchid Theater here. A world premiere of Veal by JoJo Jones. There you go. There's the Vig, LG's bar. Yeah, very nice. You're up in Pilsen, 18th and Ashland. That's great. Yeah, I just posted that train ride I got on the 18th Street station. Thanks to somebody corrected me. I messed up and said Damon. I was one stop north of Damon on 18th. We rode it from I rode the pink line from 18th. I mean, I streamed it. You know, I filmed the view out the train and sped it up there. But yeah, we were down in Pilsen. We went down to 19th and Ashland to St. Pius there on Sunday. Thanks for tuning in there. We got reruns of the speakers. That's where we saw all those great speakers there for refusefascism.org. You can check out refusefascism.org. They were at the protest on Wednesday as well. We talked with them. You can see it in the rerun there. It's great. They are vintage posters. But I smell gunpowder in the morning. It smells like victory. So from what I understand, so the battle with the National Guard from Texas and Chicago, it's still being disputed in the courts, right? And so, But there's the, yeah, look at all the mums here. This is called Burton Place here. They got the sculpture there. They have the Carl Street Studios, the Oakville Studios over there. Beautiful dog. How you doing there? Good morning. Yeah, thank you. Very nice. Yeah. There, had to work here. Hey, get Art of Hair Design there, yeah. So, if you just joined, this is called Old Town Wells Street, Chicago, Illinois, heading to work. We got mid 50s. I'm wearing a jacket, just like a little windbreaker thing, a tracksuit. Schiller Place. Garfield's beverage. But hey, I walked around Wrigley. We saw Fergie Jenkins up there before the game. He was a good omen there. Cubs pulled it off. So we'll see what Detroit does tonight. I'll be rooting for Detroit. Nothing against Seattle. Seattle has a great team. I know Kevin and Natalie are rooting for Detroit there, so we'll root for the Midwest there. I like Seattle too, though. I'm sure Major Hessler will be rooting for the Mariners there. There's the Scout. So hey, I'm glad we'll have to check this out. So this used to be the Poorhouse. Now it's called the Scout. So we'll see if people are going there to watch sports games. The Old Jerusalem restaurant. Good news in the Mideast. I guess there's a truce working towards the trading of hostages and the end to this stupid conflict that's gone on for 2 years. I think the president's heading to Egypt and negotiate some grand bargain there. So at least some positive news out of the Mideast regarding that horrible war and what happened to what's still happening to the Palestinian people there. There's the Broken English Taco Bub's gone. Here they're setting up for the marathon. Here's Orso's, this great Italian restaurant here, corner of Wells and Schiller here, Northern Italian Dining here. They got the outdoor in the back, Orso's Ristorante here. But here we'll head down past Third Coast Stitches. This is a new place here. String of Strands gone, but the Patina collection is gone too. And this is the old Calvin Square. It used to be Dr. Scholl's. We talk about it all the time. Western Wheel Company here, Wells Street, Old Town. Windy City Travel. Yeah, I always think of National Historic Register. I always think of my big fat Greek wedding. She was the travel agent there. There's Judy Maxwell. Using gifts, yeah. Joan Cusack. Look, there's the entrance to the redeveloped Cobbler Square there. Hey, let's see if they got any news about the Dom's Market reopening. How you doing? There's Small Cheval. Of course, the All Cheval is the real restaurant, and they've expanded to the Small Chevals all throughout the city here. Old Town Barbershop. Old Town Pub. There's the sound of the train off in the distance here. Thanks for tuning in Chicago here. Yeah, we got mid-50s, 7:24. We're heading to work here on a Friday. Village Cycle Center. Dolores is tuning in. Mary Therese. Mosquito. Sir Josh Speed there. How you doing there? Yeah, Chicago's got some business problems with business taxes. I know that it's a conundrum. I'm not good with finance and all that stuff, but there's the Old Town Garden Center. You can get you some pumpkins and stuff. We were looking at that. Yeah, there's an amazing the most I've ever seen. The pandemic was bad, and then there was the second wave after the pandemic, the loss of people commuting to work, working from home, buying stuff from Amazon, storefronts, high taxes in the city. But I went to Wilmington, North Carolina. I saw a few empty storefronts. I've gone to Houston, Texas. I've seen empty storefronts there, even though Houston, I'm talking about the downtown of Houston, not the suburbs are booming. The suburbs of Houston and Austin and Atlanta, Nashville, all those places. But storefront retail has problems in all major cities. New York's has problems, LA. I think there's half of the country that really wants to destroy the big American cities and could care less if we waste away. That happened in the 70s too. Before New York City dropped it, they had a major financial problem. Things were arguably worse then than they are now, but they're bad now. But they're probably going to get worse because of the funding at the federal level, the conscious attack on liberal mayors and liberal governors as a whipping political whipping boy. Red meat to the base. Feel like they're doing something, you know, attacking the opposition. And you know, it's interesting when political parties try to sabotage each other. No one really wins. Here's the fresh market. Here's the fresh market. It's going to reopen here where Dom's used to be. So do they have a date? I guess we'll have to look online. One day we'll walk by this and this will be open and we'll check it out. So the fresh market put their sign there. This used to be Dom's Market. This is on Wells Street. Wells and Scott. We're south of Goethe on Wells Street, Old Town. So this is good. This is good news that at least the big box grocery retail is opening despite the business tax. So there you go. There, at least, you know, and there are, like, Lori's is being redeveloped into a magic themed restaurant. We lost Lori's, but then eventually a new restaurant goes in its place. The same with, how you doing? Hey. And I think he was heckling me like he thinks I'm like ice or something. Maybe he feels better about himself by yelling something out the window there. That's good. Tell him I filmed the protest. Maybe he doesn't like I filmed the protest and he's protesting me filming the protest. That's good. I wasn't even filming him. He's like, stop filming my face. I'm like, I didn't care. You're just a person driving by there. Thanks for tuning in. Now I'm used to that. I'm used to people not liking me. I'm used to people not liking live streamers. I'm used to people not liking liberals. I'm used to people not liking me being in this country. I'm used to people not liking my opinions. And I'm sure you're used to it as well too. Not everybody agrees. Like, thanks for letting me know. Here's the House of Glunts, 1888. But this serves a purpose, you know. We have a nice community here. A lot of times people have friends, relatives, people that are interested, live in Chicago, may be curious about. I know we got the Chicago gatekeepers. They don't want anybody else moving here. We don't want nobody that nobody sent. I'm not the only person that does this. And so I guess the actions that I do reflect badly on the other live streamers, so I got to be good and be respectful of people. Here, Disco Pancake. Here, we'll head down Wells Street here. Yeah, here's Aldi. So there's Aldi. Aldi never left. There's always Aldi grocery store here as long as this development's been here. Built about 10 years ago. Hey, Snowbo, how you doing there? Area. Is that your question? You just type one word. I'm supposed to interpret everything you're asking. Area. What is this area? No, yeah, this is Old Town. We're kind of walking out of Old Town. And I might have missed an earlier comment. We got some wind, so hey, we're finally living up to the Windy City moniker there. It's because these tall buildings, these tall residential buildings, kind of, hey, they're coming to get me. They're coming to get me. Chris, it's a rough job. What's Maurice doing? Oh, you're finishing your sentence. Thanks, Maurice. Appreciate it. That's why. Thank you. Okay, you're up north. You deliver for Cisco. Okay, good. Now I see what you're saying, Maurice. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. A lot of times when you live stream, you're confused because, like, I'll catch a comment and I'm like, it reflects, you know, the people are having like side conversations or yeah, that's good. I should just let it fly there. There's the back of that church. We walk through there sometimes. But yeah, this is this housing. There's the moon. Man, the moon over the lake was spectacular on Wednesday. The waves, I tried to film the moon before. Just you can't do it justice on the TV or on the cell phone screen. It looks so small unless you get it next to a building or some object. So if you just joined us, Chicago, we're on Wells Street. We're about to go by the Walter Payton High School. You ever heard of Walter Payton, the great Chicago Bears running back football? They built too many luxury apartments in this area. Kansas, how you doing there, Kim? Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Shauna, thanks for being on there. Yeah, Shauna, Mary Trees, Chris. Thanks to everybody for tuning in here. Patrick. Freezer in the basement. There you go. There's the train. There's the College Prep, very nice high school there. See, people always like, I remember like 2.5 years ago, people were like, you're gonna get shot. How could you walk around the main streets of Chicago? I'm like, look at these kids going to school, going to the bus, people going to work. I see mothers pushing strollers. I'm like, come on, You go, you can go all over the city and see the same thing, Like this is the Ruben Salazar Language Academy. This used to be the high school before they built this. And Darren Monroe talks about that. Here's Wendell and Wells. So we'll head there. There's some nice views. We'll go by the Moody Bible Institute. We went by the Moody Church, which is up on North and Clark there. But this is the Moody Bible Institute. Still owns a lot of real estate in this area. And there's the Walter Payton High School College Prep there. We're on Wells Street. We're going to head towards River North. I'm heading towards Michigan Avenue eventually because that's where I work. I'm walking to work. This is my commute to work on a Friday. And Fridays and Mondays, there's usually hardly anybody in the office. And that's when I get the most done. Then enjoy the weekend. I got some stuff to do today, actually, which is good. I guess it's good to be busy, right? Hey, watch out, slip on the water here. Wells Street, Chicago, Illinois. Yeah. Chris, isn't it amazing how much free advice we get from people outside of Chicago that never come here, don't care to come here, will never come here? And so why are we going to take advice from people like that, And that's the same thing we're dealing with did you see? Okay, so I saw on Morning Joe this morning that the governor of Oklahoma, okay, listen to what I'm saying here. The governor of Oklahoma, who's the head of the governors associations, all the governors, the 50 governors of the 50 states, hopefully they'll include Puerto Rico's, and he goes, we disagree with the federal overreach. This is a conservative governor from Oklahoma, one of the most conservative states in the nation, like Utah, and he's siding with J.B. Pritzker, the separation of powers. He goes, this is the governor of Oklahoma. He goes, Oklahoma would go nuts. People would bring out their long guns if Illinois would have sent the National Guard to Oklahoma under the Biden administration. That did not happen. And you understand why I had to cover the protests, because I'm in solidarity with people resisting the overreach of the federal government. In this particular case, especially with ICE and the deployment of the National Guard, because they're realizing how hard it's going to be and how expensive it's going to be and how traumatizing it's going to be to the communities affected, including U.S. citizens and kids in schools. How do you explain it to the kids? Masked men in America spreading fear, and it's by design. It's by design. It's for propaganda. They do heavy metal videos showing takedowns like they did in the Iraq War, and we know what that led to, Abu Ghraib and abuses, and it's just... So we got to go through this once again, repeat the same stuff over and over again. Look at that. That's that beautiful skyline along Michigan Avenue. Usually we walk right through there, where we go down Michigan Avenue when we come off of Oak Street Beach and stuff. We're seeing it from the parking lot of the Moody Bible Institute. That's the John Hancock, 875 North Michigan. And Washington Square Park's right there. There's the One Chicago Tower. We'll head right through the Moody Bible Institute here. Yeah, we can cross over. Let's head this way. We'll head towards the skyline. You can walk through there. You have to go through the building. I don't know how. Sometimes it's open. Sometimes we go through that building in the evening. Here's this new housing along Wells Street. Takes advantage of these nice views. You see why they get to see that view until they build something here. Yeah. Yeah, I walk about 10 miles a day. We walked 5 miles last night. I walked from downtown all the way to Wrigley Field. Who else has enough time to waste like me? Thank God I don't have a family and kids. I'd be spending too much time away from my family and kids, but I don't have that. I walked all the way from, which I'm fine with. I walked all the way up from where I work to Wrigley Field. Thankfully, my friend picked me up. We went and watched the game there. By the time we turned it on, the Cubs were already up 3-0. He went to stop at Benny's on the way back there, so we got him stocked up. Benny's Beverage Depot there at the castle. Hey, we're over to LaSalle Street. This is Chicago. Hey, look at the flags. So here's the flags for the Moody Bible Institute. They utilize space underneath the ground there. There's classrooms with the skylight and hallways and stuff there. And this is called the Sweeting Center. The Sweeting Center, the Moody Bible Institute here, 1886. And sometimes they have Fall Fest. I saw for the students. And we'll see if that happens here. But here, LaSalle Street, Chicago, Illinois. Here we're heading to work. Here we got 737. We could just head straight down LaSalle Street. I haven't done that in a while in this area. But we can cut over. We'll just cut over through River North here. I need my coffee. I feel pretty tired here. We've been moving. I stayed up to midnight last night after that game. Yeah, JS, how you doing there? Thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, the Moody Bible Institute. Yeah, let's walk down this street. They got beautiful housing here. Here, we'll wait till this car passes. But see, Chicago Avenue's right there. This is LaSalle Street looking north. A nice planted tree median. You can look all the way down to the Board of Trade. Come on. Look at that. You can look all the way down LaSalle Street straight to the Board of Trade. So we'll cross the street here. Hey, ornamental cabbage. So here we're at LaSalle and Chestnut. This is Joey Chestnut Street. That's what I call it, because of Joey Chestnut, the hot dog champion, which he's from, he always wins the Nathan's hot dog eating contest there in New York City. But there's a nice group of row houses here, the undulating window bays there. Nice pattern of language of the urban design. Stoops there. And it's nice because you get this view to the John Hancock. So here we are on Chestnut Street here, River North, in this nice little postcard-esque strip here. All the mailboxes. Everything's in alignment. West Chestnut Apartments. Hey, look at the Italianate cornices there. Jersey Shore, how you doing there, Caroline? God's bow there. Healthy life. Well, we'll see. I don't know. I ate too much ice cream. There's the John Hancock. They got to stop. I don't know if they got to stop. I don't think they stop for them. Go here. We'll go. There you got to look at the bike path. Here comes the bike path. Very nice. They added that bike path on Clark Street. They added that last year. That wasn't always there. So here we're still on Chestnut Street here. We're heading over towards Dearborn. River North now. Yeah, see the world through other people's eyes. It's like being John Malkovich. You're in my head. Where's your head at? The world is beautiful if we let it be. Yeah, pups. You see the pups? Yeah, Emma Bonsai. How you doing there? Little barky dog, yeah. Oh, see the world. Sorry about that. I cut out a second there. I went to my sleeve hit the phone. My sleeve caught the phone. I was gonna like zoom in or something, and I accidentally turned off the live when the screen went sideways. So thanks for staying on. Usually I can get it back. Am I still streaming okay here? We'll cross Dearborn Street here. I see the comments, so I think I was able to salvage the live here. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties, but hey, we're back. Thanks for staying on here. We're walking to work. We're in Chicago. We're on Dearborn Street, south of Chestnut. And we'll just head past this wall here. We're good. Thanks, Emma Bonsai. Thanks for staying on. Look at, so you see, remember we went by the Second City earlier? They had the head of Mozart and those other four heads. These heads were from the Garrick Theater as well. They added it to this wall. They added this wall later from bricks that were probably from other buildings that were lost in this area. And this area used to be more low-scale residential, and then it turned into this, which is River North, and the density changed, and that's the old YMCA. Boy, did the density change. Look at that. That's the One Chicago Tower. And yeah, they got this. There's the John Hancock. That's Michigan Avenue. We're on Dearborn. There's such a beautiful group of buildings over here. We walk by these all the time. The French Cultural Center's there, and there's architecture and other galleries and things there. And these Italianate storefronts on Dearborn Street. We'll head down towards the Chicago River there. Yeah, it's 7:43 in the a.m. We're 803 North Dearborn here. We're at Dearborn and Chicago Avenue. Heading to work here on Friday. We'll cross the street. Hey, looks like a beautiful day. Might get cloudy later today. But hopefully for the marathon on Sunday, it should be beautiful weather. And we'll cover that. So here we'll cross Chicago Avenue. Very nice. Ricky, how's it going there? Kelly Quinn there, good morning, yeah. Yeah, it looks calm. I'll keep calm and carry on. Look at this Art Deco. Let's see this facade here with the sun here. So they restored this. This was the old YMCA, Young Men's Christian Association. Look at it, Art Deco detailing there. Tina Fey used to work at this in the early 1990s before she got huge on SNL. And she of course came through the Second City, as did Amy Poehler. This is the YMCA on Chicago Avenue. Getting kind of windy here. But we'll head by the Holy Name Cathedral here. We'll head down State Street. There it is. Yeah, ice baby. We went to that protest on Wednesday. I still got some more footage. I focused on the speakers. I know people wanted me to march more, but you know, they wanted all the media up at the front, that's where Ernie was at. He stayed at the front. I saw some, even like the MSNBC media and stuff, were in with the crowd. Some of the big national media that was there to cover it, and which I'm glad they did. Here's the pigeons flying around here. They kind of flock and fly in a circle. We saw them do this down by the river one time. The pigeons will flock and they'll swarm around here. So here's the Holy Name. There's the pigeons going this way too. They landed on the Holy Name Cathedral School here. It's called the Francis Xavier Ward School here, the parochial school associated with the Holy Name Cathedral, the Archdiocese of the Catholic Church here. They televise the Mass there in Chicago on Sundays. Cardinal Superich gives the Mass there. But here's the, hey, Pomeroy. So that's new. They used to call that something else. Now they call it Sophia Steak. Okay. So it's the Holy Name Cathedral. That's where Jaime Weiss was murdered on the steps there. That was Prohibition, gangland violence. The Untouchable tours will tell you all about. Suppose you can still see the bullet holes in the steps. I'm not exactly sure when or where, but I'm sure somebody does. See the Red Line subways underneath here. This is State Street, Chicago, Illinois. There's the sound of the subway. And here's the One Chicago Tower. So tall, I can't film the top. Hey, we'll cross the street here. Let's go over to Jake Melnick's. See what Jake's doing. Right here, the Holy Name Cathedral. We got and hey, look at his dogs just looking down State Street. Here, cathedral's a night of worship. There, Pope Leo the 14th there, the Chicago Pope. Holy Name Cathedral. And if we cross the street, you can see the John Hancock here. I think. Well, just the towers here. Well, I'm getting hungry. I want to get me some breakfast when I get to work. Kelly, how you doing there? Yeah, you hearing the wind? Yeah, it makes it hard to hear me sometimes, I know. Trust me, the wind gets much worse than this. This is not bad at all. But it makes it hard for live streaming. I know some days people are like, I can't stand to watch the wind so bad. I know. Marathon, you got it. Yeah, Sunday, Chicago Marathon. So we'll be covering that. It'll be early. It starts early, like 8 in the morning. The bands will be out. I enjoy covering the bands. People crowd cheering, and people get so excited, and I get excited, and we all feed off each other's excitement. Get the natural high there. I don't even run the marathon. I feel like I ran the marathon after it's over. I talk so much. But here, Jake Melnick's. We'll head down Wabash. Hey, look, I like this. Oh, look at that set. That's a nice set. I like that. So this is Pistachios. You go to Pistachios here. Pistachios, contemporary art and jewelry here on Wabash, here just south of Superior. Hey, see, somebody left a scooter there, so you can trip on it. I know that wasn't their intention, but good morning. Christopher Dotson's tuning in. Yeah, check out Christopher Dotson. Hey, Christopher, we saw this Gemini up at Wrigley. He's another prolific YouTube live streamer like you, and he doesn't really talk on his videos. He'll just film like 60 frames per second, 4K quality, and thank you. Here's the back of the Trump Tower. This is the St. James. You remember we talked about how the bells fell down during the Great Chicago Fire. The bell tower was severely damaged here for St. James. They had to rebuild the church. Right here we'll head down to the Cable House and the Tree House. Usually they decorate for Halloween. I'm surprised they didn't. They must have cut it out of the budget this year. Here's the St. James Episcopalian Church. Nice Episcopalian church here. Out of the ashes. 150th anniversary of the rebuilding of St. James. Thursday, October. I missed it last night. I went up to Wrigley instead. They talked about the rebuilding of St. James after the Great Chicago Fire, because we just passed the anniversary on October the 8th. The fire actually burned 2 days, so October 8th, 9th, and 10th. So today, that was when the Great Chicago Fire was extinguished by the lake. Burned for 2 days, 2 nights and 2 days. There's the Cable House. Look at that Richardsonian Romanesque. Here, let's head right down past the, here's the Tree House. Yeah, we'll get it here. Go ahead, Chris. So there it is, John B. Murphy Memorial here. That goes to Michigan Avenue. We'll go past Dewey's and Uno's. There's the Cable House. The Tree House is a great museum. If you tour the inside, it's a Gilded Age mansion. It's beautiful. You got like skylights, crazy detailing, just over the top ornamentation. It's like a lost age. I'm glad it's preserved by the Tree House there. And they added the Murphy Memorial to it too, which is nice. So here's the casino, the Temporary Valleys Casino. Hey, there's construction progress is finally being made on both the hotel and the casino. Look like they're starting to come out of the ground there on the North Branch Chicago River. We're by the Wake and Bakery here. Dewey's and Uno's. There's the Medina Temple Auditorium, which is now the temporary location of the Chicago's casino. Here's the Pizzeria Dewey's, and that's where the Lorries is being redeveloped to be in a new Magic thing here. Well, Pizzeria Dewey. Here's the Valley's Casino. Hey, look at this building. It used to be a private residence. Now it's the restaurant there. And that's the same thing as Uno's. Looks about the same. Nice mansard roofs there. Almost like French Renaissance Revival. No, it's like Second Empire. It's like the French style. So, hey, what's shaking here? Am I missing any comments here? Yeah. So, yeah. I need to. Last night the font was so small. I couldn't like read the comments. It was my own fault. I need to up that. I'll work on that here. But here's the Medina Temple Auditorium. There's Italy. Got Italy here in Chicago. We'll head down towards the river here. Oh, someone lost their bike. They took everything. Totally unusable. There's Uno's, Pizzeria Uno's, Chicago style pizza here. We're on Wabash at Ohio. Whoa, that great. A little tricky there. Hey, congratulations to the Chicago Cubs. They defeated the Milwaukee Brewers last night 6-0. They shut out the Milwaukee Brewers. That's really hard to do. The Milwaukee Brewers threatened several times. They had men on third base, second and third, and couldn't get them home there. So lived to play another game. Game 5 of the National League Division Series will be there in Milwaukee. 7:08 start time there on Saturday. Detroit plays tonight. Detroit plays the Seattle Mariners. It's another 7:08 start time. So we'll look forward to that. Here we're in Chicago. I'm heading to work. I'm nearing. Yeah, we got 7:53. Hey, the Chicago Reader. Remember the Chicago Reader? It still exists. It's just they used to be all over the place in paper form. You'd be in your building, but you can still get the Reader online. Chicago Reader, an independent alternative newspaper. If you don't like the mainstream media, read the Reader there. Nice journalism. That's how I used an article they wrote about Frank Chapman. Frank Chapman was the gentleman we saw speak at the protest on March on Wednesday, and he led the march. He led the march in his hover chair there. It was great. He was talking about Frederick Douglass, agitate, and important. He goes back to the 1960s. Frank Chapman there. He was a civil rights leader in the 60s, or you know, activist, revolutionary. Look at that. There's the top of the Tribune, the Medina, or that's the Medina Athletic Association, which is associated with the casino because the Shriners, which are a subgroup of the Masons, built all those things. And here we'll head in. We'll go over to the Wrigley Building the back way here. Hubbard and Wabash here. River North, Chicago, Illinois here. There's the back of the tall Trump Tower right there. You can head over this sidewalk and get right to the Plaza of the Americas. We saw people taking pictures there yesterday. We'll head this way, and we'll head right over to the Wrigley Building. We'll pop out the Michigan Avenue Bridge. But hey, hope everybody has a good weekend. We'll be on at lunchtime. We'll see. They got food. I think they still got food trucks at Daily Plaza. I don't know what we'll do at lunchtime. I'll see if there's anything to cover. Any newsworthy events? We'll cover the marathon on Sunday. We'll be streaming here on YouTube. It's a fun time. There'll be other people streaming from other areas of the city. That's what makes it interesting. You can view it from different vantage points because it goes to the north side, the west side, the south side. The Chicago Marathon is going to be held this Sunday, October the 12th. And hundreds of thousands of people, literally millions of people cheer. And I just get to roll out of my bed there. It runs right past where I live, to both directions, up and down. I'm literally surrounded by the marathon, which I can like lay down in the middle of the street. Usually stop traffic. And I enjoy all the people participating, people running barefoot, people with costumes running in the marathon, and people that in costumes cheering them on. They have themed cheerleaders and bands, and dogs are dressed up, and positive vibes. It's a great, and the weather looks like it's going to be picture perfect. Sunshine, no rain in the forecast for the Chicago Marathon. As far as the last time I checked, and I did check, here's the see, well, we're behind the Wrigley building here. There's that sky bridge that connects the annex. That's the annex. That's the actual Wrigley. But look at this beautiful view. You get to the London Guarantee Mather Tower, the Jewelers Building, and yeah, there's the Chicago River. We're gonna walk right across it there, and that's where you can catch the water taxis there, the Windella. That's what we took back from Chinatown last weekend. We got video footage of that too. But hey, look at that! Woo! Nice reflection there. Look at the beautiful detailing here. This amazing terracotta that wraps all the way around here. The detail, the texture. The building has texture. You know, all those spandrels there between the windows, and yeah. So here we'll head over the DuSable Michigan Avenue Bridge here. The landscapers are working on the mums here. There's that nice view. Vintage skyscraper, Chicago, Illinois here. We got October the 10th, 2025, 7:58 in the a.m. here. We're underneath the Wrigley building. Look at that. Yeah, look at the Chicago River's looking nice. So I'm sure we'll check out the river walk at some point over the lunch walk there. Well, we were there last night. There's the water taxis. And see how you can look back, see these Tribune and that's the Medina Athletic Association, or Medina Athletic Association. It's now the Intercontinental Hotel. Here's the sculptural elements here on the bridge house here. And hey, there's the tall Trump Tower there. Yeah, see, everybody stops to get their photos. I'm the same way here. Something just fell in the water there. Huh. There's the water taxis there, the Chicago River. They're still working on the State Street Bridge. Look at that beautiful view. Yeah, I posted some reruns from at nighttime of looking at this, and it's just, we saw like the St. Regis there with the settings, or this, yeah, the twilight. Traffic's backing up here. Hey, Chicago River walk. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you have a good Friday there. We'll head down Michigan Avenue. Look where I get to work. You know, I'm very fortunate and privileged. I know, lucky to have a good job here, and to be able to walk across this bridge like Bob Newhart. That used to be the Sun Times buildings, but now it's that. Hey, let's get across the street here. A lot of people are going to be in town this weekend for the marathon. Families coming to support, and people drive in from the suburbs to cheer on their friends and neighbors, and even people they don't know come from all over the world. See, they got some barricades getting ready here. There we are. We made it here. Wrigley Building, Tribune. They call this the cultural mile here. Wait till this bus turns and then we can cross here. There we go. There we go. Hey, good. It's here, Chicago Cultural Mile. This is Michigan Avenue looking south. This is Michigan Avenue looking north. Get that nice view to the Tribune and the Wrigley there. Streeterville. There's the 2 bus from Hyde Park. And hey, nice electric unicycle here, Fannie Mae. Chicago Blackhawks. The Blackhawks, I guess, they played the Bruins last night. Did they tie? Or did they tie or did they lose? The Blackhawks, they lost one game and they tied one. That's how they started the season. I know they played the Bruins last night. I need to check on the Chicago Blackhawks there. We'll switch to hockey. I was too much focused on the Cubs last night, which is understandable. Cubs are in the playoffs there. But hey, you can check out that rerun. We did walk around Wrigley Field. We got the, if you fast forward all the way to the end, you could hear the Star Spangled Banner there in front of the marquee, and before the game last night, and we saw this Gemini, which was great running into him. Check out this Gemini on YouTube, another Chicago-based live streamer, and It was nice seeing everybody up at Wrigley last night. Glad the Cubs pulled it off their 6-0 win against the Milwaukee Brewers there. So we'll see what happens on Saturday night there. There, we'll head to work here. We'll be on at lunchtime. Thanks, mods. Thanks, everybody. Mary Therese and Shauna, Chris, thanks for being on. Hope you had a fun time with pinball last night and celebrating that Cubs victory. You're up early for, I'm sure you're up late watching that game like me last night. And we'll see what happens with Detroit tonight. Detroit plays the Seattle Mariners. LA Dodgers are already in it. They advanced. They beat the Philadelphia Phillies. Man, that was it was 11th inning. Bases were loaded. So Philadelphia was in a pickle anyway. Such a stressful situation for the pitcher. And the batter was able to drill it right back to the pitcher, like this little dribble that he kind of, it was a decision. And the catcher was like, throw to first. And he threw it home. And it was a horrible, even if he caught it, he wouldn't have been able to make the tag. And LA Dodgers won in 11. And the Yankees lost to the Blue Jays. So it's the Blue Jays going to face either the Detroit Tigers or the Seattle Mariners. And the LA Dodgers are going to face either the Brewers or the Cubs, depending on the outcome of tonight and tomorrow. So, hey, we got baseball. Cubs are in it. Cubs are a part of it there. Let's celebrate. We wanted to live another day. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And if I missed anybody there, thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your Friday morning here. We'll see you at lunchtime here on YouTube. And then we'll walk home tonight, look for Halloween decorations. And appreciate your attention here. And have a great day. Happy Friday, everybody. And we'll do the marathon there. Looking forward to it on Sunday. Thanks a lot, everybody. Yeah, okay. Talk to you later there. Let's see. Now I get the comments here. T-Lime Tea Time, CoinScope. Yeah. Oh, you're advertising your crypto there? To run. Sandy Johnson, Ricky Salgallo. Okay, Ernesto Ponzo. Okay, we'll see y'all later. Have a good night. Or have a good day. Friday. It's Friday. All right, bye. Weekday.